Kumari J. Prajnana Dipika is the daughter of Srimati Lalita Kalpana and Dr. Srinivas Jayanti. She's doing her first year in Bachelor of Physiotherapy in Chennai. She's blessed to have been introduced into this art form Kuchipudi Natyam from Kalaratna Guru Vempati Ravishankar at the age of 8 and is a student of Srimati Lalita Kalpana, who is a senior disciple of Sangeet Natak Academy awardee Guru Srimati A.B. Bala Kondal Rao Garu, Guru Sri Hariramamurthy Garu, Padma Bhushan Dr. Vempati Chinna Satyam Garu, and Kalaratna Guru Vempati Ravishankar Garu. Prajna is a music student of late Guru Kalaimamani Bhagavatula Sita Rama Sharma Garu and is now under the training of Guru Srimati Manda Sudharani Garu.
Thank you, Prajna, for being a part of this year's online Mahotsavam. It's been wonderful seeing you as part of the ICAPS series since 2014, and I'm glad even though we can't travel, we can still do this. So tell us about your artistic journey.
Yes. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, Namaskaram. I'm Prajnana Dipika. So I have started my dance since I'm learning my dance since 11 years. So before that, I was never into dance, though my mother is a dancer and she is my teacher. I was never into or acquainted with dance, though I had that atmosphere all around me. So my friend, my close friend, Srividya Vadlamani, she was the first student for Amma. So she motivated me after 2 months to join into the dance class. So on January 7th, 2009, I joined with Amma, under Amma. But I'm extremely grateful to have been initiated into this wonderful art form by Kalaratna Guru Sri Vempati Ravishankar Garu, whom I fondly call Ravi Moya. So before this dance class, before I joined my dance class, I went to the Kuchipudi Art Academy when I was young as a toddler. So there I used to enjoy, maybe then I went only for the food I had there. I enjoyed my kakarkai vepudu or the bitter gourd fry under Ammamma Garu. And also I had that opportunity to meet Guru Vempati Chinna Satyam Garu, whom I fondly call Diditai Tata Garu. So though I had all this atmosphere, like dance classes there in Kuchipudi Art Academy or at home always, I never knew I would come this far into this art form until one day I realized that I was actually interested with my heart and soul into it. So yes.
So how have some of these experiences shaped your interest? Like, did you just realize how did that realization come that this was something that you wanted to do for yourself, not because of your mom or because of anybody else?
So unknowingly or without my notice, I started reciting the jatis, the slokas that were happening in the dance class, because when I was maybe 1 or 2 years, I've been acquainted with such people all around me. So I'm grateful for that. So without my notice, I started reciting the jatis or the slokas. So that gave me a confidence within myself that I can actually recite the jatis. So that is like the step one. Confidence of telling a jati in front of the teacher is step one, I feel. So that gave me some confidence. Also, I had slight minor injury in my leg one time when I was in ninth. Then I had to stop dancing I had to take a pause for dancing for a month or so. Then I realized I just couldn't bear that 1 month pause. I just couldn't stay without dancing. I realized why this happened. And then slowly that was the day when I actually came to know that dance was not just a 3-hour class every week, but also a part of me. Yeah.
So you're in college now, right?
Yes.
And you're still continuing dance with your studies and everything else going on. Why? What made you decide that this is something that you want to pursue? And how did that play into what you're studying, or how did you kind of work out what role dance has with everything else that you're doing?
Okay. So by at the end of my 12th standard here, I had no uh, exact ambition or dream to have pursue as my career. So then I thought, I didn't, at that point of time, dance was a part completely soaked, it was completely immersed into me, that I just couldn't leave it for anything, not even for my career. So I thought I could do something related to that. So I chose physiotherapy that could actually help myself, my dance, and all other dancers out there, which is very, very essential nowadays. So I'm doing my second year in physiotherapy in Sri Ramachandra University here. So that so that study there with my body, with the human body, has helped me recover from my injuries very well. So yes, it is, of course, that those dance and physiotherapy are two different and two difficult things to do at the same time. But maybe my passion for dance has made it much easier for me to do both at the same time.
So dance is what helped you figure out what else you wanted to do, and that's what drove everything else, as opposed to, okay, I have
Yes.
to go for this, you know. Um,
Yeah.
how has your how has your approach to dance changed as you've learned more through your academics?
Okay. So initially, like till very recently, I was not into this fitness for dance. I always thought doing the Digita step those steps, basic steps, would give me all the fitness I needed for me to do the items. That's all I had in mind. So I never used to bother, I never used to care about stretching or strengthening my body for dance. I always thought dance will give you everything. Dance will make sure your body is fine if you do it perfectly. That is true, but at this point of time, with our lifestyle changes in this modern period, I strongly felt that you need to have some fitness, and you will get injuries due to any physical activity continuing for long, prolonged period. So you should be able to bear with them and accept them first, and then try to heal yourself with your muscles strengthening or all such activities. So that has helped me change my mind from dance is fitness to fitness for dance.
How does that look like for you when you're saying fitness for dance? What do you do now that you weren't necessarily doing before?
Before, I was always not interested in doing any kind of stretches before dance class, but I had to, because Amma used to literally push me push me to the floor to touch my toes and all that. So I was forced to, but now I understand its importance. So I do stretches, strengthenings for my lower limbs especially, and I do some core exercises to keep my back straight, which will help me for my poses and all of them. I'm still working on them because I started all the strengthenings a little late, so it does take time for my body.
And how has that, what do you feel like, how are you seeing the difference in your dance with that? Is that something where you can draw a direct line in any change, or is it more that that this is making a difference?
Like, now that I'm studying that subject, I'm able to analyze much more than what the other dance students are able to do. So I found a difference. Like, everyone found a small difference, slight difference in my dancing, but I'm able to feel it, and I now know the reason why that happens. Like every movement, if I have to lift my leg up, I know that, okay, my muscles are slowly becoming strong. I'm able to hold my core tightly. I'm able to contract that and keep it steady. So all that in uh, knowledge of physiotherapy, of what I'm going through, is helping me to even get through my injury and also keep myself in form for dancing.
What advice do you have for students of dance? I know that you're, you know, you're in your early part of college, but you know, if you had to give advice to a younger version of yourself, what is something that you wish you knew before?
Discipline. I wish I knew this much before. Like, of course, Amma and everyone around me, they were with complete discipline, but I was too lazy to actually follow it so strictly. So I I regret of not being disciplined until now, but now I have changed for my dance. So discipline is first, and then of course, yes, fitness, your core, your muscles, your strengthening, your stretches, everything is important for dance. With all these strengthening and stretches and such discipline, I'm sure no item, no dance form or no item, no movement would be difficult for any of you.
What about with balancing dance with studies and all that? How did you navigate that?
So actually, as I told you, I decided to keep dance permanent, constant, and then choose my studies or my career. So I knew that this would be like two difficult things to take, but then I also knew that this subject, physiotherapy, is going to help my dance much way more than any other subjects that I would choose. So yes, it is difficult, but for everything that I'm studying right now, I'm able to relate it to my body or my body needs that for dance, and I'm able to study it, relate everything together, which is making me both my dance and my college work very easy for me right now.
What about when you were preparing for college and going through the final exams and things like that? I know that's always a stressful time.
Yes, it is a stressful time. So during exams, yes, I I never stopped dancing, but at least at home, if I'm not able to attend the class, because once I go into the class, I don't have the habit of seeing the time and then leaving. So that is a very bad habit, of course, but I'm used to it. At in dance class, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 or 4, whatever. Going there is only the time that I see, but coming back is not in my hands. I don't want to keep it in my hands. So sometimes at home, if I'm not going to dance class because the next day I have my exams, at home at least for half an hour I make sure I dance, or else it just gets unequal. My mind is always balanced when I have my dance and my work going on together. Anything which is going low, it's going to be completely collapsed. And also nowadays I'm practicing. I am a music student of late Kalaimamani Bhagavatala Sitaram Sharma Garu, and now I'm continuing my music lessons under Vidushi Srimati Manda Sudharani Garu from Chennai. So bringing music also into dance and physiotherapy has been a little a little tight and hectic, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
What items are you presenting for your ICAPS performance? Tell us about the pieces.
Okay. So I have chosen 3 items to do, and I wanted to do the 3 items I wanted to present was firstly Kamakshi Stuti, uh, Pedamaster garu Aditya Tata garu's a masterpiece choreography. So that in Ragam Kamala Manohari, the Kirtanam is in Kamala Manohari, taken from, and it is preceded by 2 slokas taken from Kamakshi Pancharatnam. And of course, written by Muthuswami Dikshitar, Kanjadalaya Takshim Kamakshi. That is one item. And the next is a small tarangam, Narayana Tirtha Tarangam in Saurashtra Ragam and Aditalam. That is choreographed. It was an experimental choreography by my guru, Srimati J. Lalita Kalpana. So that I will be doing a small tarangam in that. And next I will be concluding it with a Bhupalam Tillana, choreographed by Kalaratna Guru Sri Vempati Ravishankar Garu. So that Tillana, I have chosen these three so that I will be able to do each choreography of all the three, of all the gurus that I have seen, of all the legends that I have seen. So I wanted to show the difference in their choreographic techniques, which is very, very different from each of them. But the essence, the Kuchipudi essence is always the same. That's what I wanted to show. And also in Bhupalam Tillana, we have Ravi Moya. He put many Akasakicharis and Nritahastas, like Akashakicharis like Atikranta, Apakranta, Parshvakranta, Nupura Padika, Vidyut Bhranta in the Jatis. And he also added Uromandali Nritahasta and Rechita Ardharechita Nritahastas. His choreography technique is something very, very unique and astonishing to perform, and of course extremely challenging. I have just attempted, it was just a humble attempt that I did this time, and I know I have so much more to actually make it perfect. Yes.
How can you talk about some of the differences in the choreographic styles of each of them, and what you've noticed, either how, you know, either from like a physical perspective of the movements or the unfolding of the way the ideas are presented, whichever way, what do they have in common? What's different?
Okay. Common point, Kuchipudi has this drama tradition. It is originated from this drama tradition. So all the three choreographies that I have seen, and I'm doing it right this time, they have taken that as their base. But since I'm performing a Tilana of Ravi Moya's, that Natakiyata aspect might be slightly in the lower level. It will be shown in a slightly lower level because Tilana is a complete Nritta piece. So the base is the same of their choreographies, but the movements that they choose, the unique different movements that each of them choose for different rhythms and all, there are three different complete things that I have experienced. Diditai Tatlagarus, he explains every line of the song in such an elaborate way that you see his choreographies, you'll be able to literally translate it word to word. You'll be able to translate it by the end of that line. So he gives you so many repetitions. He gives the audience so much time to understand each line of the choreography or the composition. And he also adds a sanchari part, a small dramatic element in most of his choreographies. In this Kamakshi Stuti that I will be presenting, it will show how Parvati Devi has saved or given a rebirth to Manmadha after Manmadha Dahanam. That is a Sanchari piece in Kamakshi Stuti. So similarly, even in the Dashavataram item, so in 2 minutes, he had that capacity to show a whole story of each avataram in just within a minute or two. So that is the sanchari or the dramatic element that Kuchipudi has. So in Ravi Moya's items, yes, this dramatic element is there, but he added new, unique movements. He also imposed that any choreographer should be able to mix both the traditional and the new movements in such a way that the audience will be able to take it easily. just only because only new movements completely, all new movements completely wouldn't grab complete attention of the audience. That is what I understood. But adding a little of the old traditional Kuchipudi footwork movements, like in the Bhupalam Tilana that I will be presenting, there is I in the Anupallavi, I cross the big fingers of the toes and I do digi digi tam with that. So though that is a traditional Kuchipudi movement. So adding that traditional Kuchipudi movements, which is unique movements, which is new unique movements, have blended beautifully in Ravi Master's choreography. And his nritya and his nritya aspect is amazing. His laya in each, for each jati, for each, every composition in his, on whatever he composed, his laya aspect, his talam, the way he plays with the rhythm is amazing. And also, of course, challenging movements too in it. And coming to Amma's choreography, her choreography has been influenced by two different choreographic techniques, that is Padmaster Garu's and Ravi Master's. So I feel, as far as I understood, I feel it has been a blend of both those combinations, and I like it so much because the way she creates new movements, or the way she blends the old movements or the traditional movements with her new ideas or her ideology is something that is very rare, and I'm happy to have danced for it always. And also her new movements or her new ideas are always based on the traditional aspects. So as far as those don't cross the limits of being always new movements and all that, I think that should be a wonderful blend of combination of movements.
What other projects do you have going on right now? What else are you doing from a dance perspective?
Okay. In the lockdown, yes, I have attended few online courses by Dr. Sujata Mohan, who is a prime disciple of Dr. Padma Subramaniam. So that is, I have learned the way they analyze charis, their Akashiki charis or Bhaume charis, as she takes it from Natya Shastram. And Dr. Padma Subramaniam has done her PhD in Karanas. So she has completely different perspective of looking at the slokas from the Natya Shastram. So I have learned that, and that perspective, that view of all our Kuchipudi or all of our Natya Shastram charis, Bhaumi and Akashiki charis, and I have compared that to what we learn in Kuchipudi. Like, how did Diditai Tatagaru put it into action through in the Kuchipudi art form? So that collaboration, that understanding that I gained was something very, very great. I feel that was very, very interesting, and I know there is a lot more to go deeper into it, and I'm planning to actually go a little more deeper in comparing two different art forms and two different ideas, so that you will learn better, you will go deeper, you will learn more in both the art forms.
How is you mentioned that you're pursuing music as well? How has that impacted how your dance is going?
Yes, without dance there is no music, without music there is no dance. They are interlinked always. So that was one of my, I joined music classes much earlier than my dance classes, as I was interested initially in music also. So I learned under Bhagwatla Sitaram Sharma Garu for almost 9.5 years. So there it has been, I never, I had so much of, I gained so much uh, interest towards it, of identifying different ragas and how they feel and how would they be good for dance. the way you want to choreograph, all the choreography aspects also in dance, you need to get the correct music to actually get new movements or get any movements for that to explain each line. So music played a very important role for me in the aspect of ragam, the melody or the laya. So now under Manda Sudharani Garu, uh, my music is developing very much, very quickly, as she's concentrating on my laya and melody at the same time. And I'm very happy, and that is helping my dance in such a way that I could in future maybe be independent on my own in both dance and music careers, and that I could help myself.
Wonderful. Well, Prajna's program will be up next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 7:30 p.m. IST, so don't miss it. And we're looking forward. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Ameya and Sharadata and the ICAPS team for giving me such an opportunity in this online Mahotsav 2020. It has been great talking to you, and thank you so much once again.
Very happy.